Hi, it's Nadira with Fresh Fire International Ministries. Thank you for joining us for another Wisdom Wednesday Nugget. Let's take a look at Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak. It will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So God says, though it tarries, and it will not tarry in these verses. But he also says to wait for it and talks about the vision coming to pass at the appointed time. So I wanted to share two quick stories with you. The first is about a woman who lost a loved one and was grieving. And the grief was very heavy on her, almost paralyzing. And she became bedridden and just didn't want to do anything. One day, the Lord led her to go to YouTube to watch one of her favorite preachers. And she thought, I'm not sure what this will do, but I'll obey. She turned on the YouTube channel, and they were actually live in their Sunday service. And an exhorter was speaking, and he was just encouraging the people and just speaking over the people's lives with scripture. And he spoke for about 25 minutes. And so she thought that the exhorter was the speaker, but he wasn't. The pastor came on after and gave his message. And she turned off the channel. She thought, that's interesting, because the order of service for that church doesn't usually include an exhorter speaking. And so she thought, okay, I watched it, encouraged for a few minutes. I'm back to where I was. And she went back to bed and just thought nothing of it. She thought that nothing happened. But eventually, she began to smile again. And eventually she began to laugh again, even though she was still grieving. It wasn't as paralyzing to her. It wasn't as heavy on her as it was prior to her watching that service. So although she didn't think that God was moving, he was moving on her behalf. And so the other woman, this is someone who is usually a happy and a cheerful person. She comes in the room and she's laughing, but she began to notice one day that her mood had changed, that she suddenly became agitated. Everything just seemed to agitate her. She was agitated at work. She was agitated at home. She was just agitated, and she didn't like it. And so what she began to do was to speak the word over her life. She began to confess that the joy of the Lord is her strength. And she kept confessing it, even though the agitation was still there. She just kept confessing it. And one day she was doing chores around the house, and she felt something lift off of her. And what she noticed was that she was back to her regular self. She was back to her cheerful self, her happy self. She was back to being a light wherever she went. She almost became discouraged because it took so long for her to return to who she believed she really was while she was confessing and praying for herself. But the thing is, God was moving, even though she didn't know he was moving. And isn't that just like God? He is always moving and always on our behalf, whether we see anything going on or whether we don't. And so sometimes it does take patience when waiting for God to move in our situations. And just because we don't see an immediate breakthrough doesn't mean that nothing is happening. As we've read in Habakkuk, God talks about the vision tarrying until the appointed time, and his time is perfect. So if you are someone that has been waiting for God to bless you with something, or to bless you with something that is, a desire of your heart that you believe he wants to bless you with, or maybe you have been praying and fasting and just staying in a stance of expectation for something, I encourage us all to just remember Habakkuk 2 and 3. Sometimes there is an appointed time. We won't always see an immediate move. We won't always see little signs that, God is doing something. But the important thing is just to know that he is moving. And so it's not what we see that we should consider final. It's what's happening in the spiritual realm that we should consider final. So although it seems like nothing is happening, something's happening. So I pray that this blessed you. If there's anything we can do for you, please feel free to reach out to the ministry at ffiministrieswithans.com. Please know that we love you and we are praying for you. And we'll see you next week for Wisdom Wednesday. God bless you. Bye-bye.